Hello, Brian the Fanboy here, and today I'm gonna talk about Pocahontas. And of course, I am talking about the Disney movie from 1995. Now, I first found out about that movie from watching an advertisement on it on the video cassette for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was a re-release, from a short time after it was in theaters as a re-release. And then I remember one time that my father said that Pocahontas looked like an Adamite. Now, when I saw the first scene I saw from that movie was the Colors of the Wind scene, and it was on the video cassette of The Lion King. And also, a comment about Pocahontas looking like an Adamite. Well, my father was the first to mention it, and then other members of my family, started saying the same thing. Now, I saw the movie in theaters with my father, mother, and sister. And well, it wasn't bad, but as a young boy, it was something that wasn't crazy, but I guess our girls were more a fan of it because I think anyway, yes. And then I think the following year, my sister got a father to buy it for us on video cassette, and of course, my sister she watched the movie a lot. And I remember she even had a Pocahontas T-shirt, back when she was very little. You know, also, my father told me that Pocahontas was actually a real person. Yes, and I had learned more about it, a little bit more about it in fifth grade. And one of the things I learned is that John, the real John Smith and the real Pocahontas uh, were never uh, romantically involved. I mean, because I'm like, they were too many years apart, and how the whole thing started, well, um, I can do it later in the video. Now, the movie Pocahontas had a sequel that was directed DVD called Pocahontas 2: Journey to a New World, which is where Pocahontas went to England. You see, in the first movie, well, the English settlers went, or colonists, they went there, to make a settlement, and of course they had to be careful because the natives were not as well as having new people come to their land. Now, as for the sequel, it will be Pocahontas. It was Pocahontas' first time going to another place where everything was different from what it used to. And well, yes, my father rented it for me and my sister on video cassette, and eventually the movie aired on Disney Channel. Now, years after sometime after I became an adult, I learned more about the real Pocahontas. And well, one thing I learned was that when John Smith and Pocahontas first met, well, John Smith was 28 and Pocahontas she was from around 10 to 12. So that's why they were never romantically involved because Pocahontas was still a child back then. And let's see. Oh yes, and just like in the movie, things between the settlers and natives were not as great in the beginning, but for a while things got a little bit better. Although some settlers didn't think highly of the natives, and other settlers just want to live peacefully. And then oh yes, and eventually this man named John Rolfe, well, by the time he arrived, Pocahontas was a bit older. Don't remember what age she was, but well, eventually she was brought to England, just like in the sequel, and John Wolfe and Pocahontas were eventually got married. And just to make sure there's no what's that word? No misunderstanding. Pocahontas was already of marriage age at the time. Don't know how old, but yeah, it was a legal thing. At least it was considered legal back in those days. Anyway, yes, let's see. Oh yes, and then sometime after they got married, they had a child together. No, I don't remember if they had a second kid, but anyway, Pocahontas, she not only did she get married, but she also converted to Christianity and changed her name to Rebecca. And then one day, John Smith saw her, and when he greeted her, Pocahontas left. And then the next time they met, she kind of like comment about him leaving, without saying goodbye or something. And well, because John Smith's time with the natives, back when Pocahontas was still a child, well, but there's this thing that nobody's really know what happened. You see, in the movie, uh, it seems Chief Powhatan was about to this, or Chief, I don't know what his name was, but the chief, he was about to kill John Smith with this stick thing or club, but Pocahontas came to save him. Now, for some reason, some consider that this was a misinterpretation of what really happened. I mean, it wasn't an execution, but more like a ritual to be welcomed into the tribe or family, whatever. Yes, and but still, nobody really knows, what the whole thing was really about. But anyway, eventually, Pocahontas and her new family, well, they were on the way back to Antarctica, and then eventually, I don't know what's before or when they got there, she became sick and then died. And her last words were almost almost die. No, nobody knows what she meant by that. But yeah, told her well her last well almost yeah that was it. But yes, and even though she died, she had a she still had a son who lived. I don't remember if she had other children, but eventually the son got married, and there were many generations after that, and there are people to this day who claim to be descendants of Pocahontas. Now, as for the folklore, where it is from the research I did, it was well, it was said that because when John Smith was writing his about his experience with the natives, one of the things he wrote about the native women offering companionship, and as time went on, and I guess with some exaggeration, the folklore became that John Smith and Pocahontas were mentally involved, and they were around, uh, not that far apart. And probably people made up some stories or misinterpret some things. Let me see what else. Um, oh yes, and I guess in a way you could say that John Smith wrote the world's first fan fiction. And yes, and only that, there have been many movies about Pocahontas before and after Disney made the movie. And the movie Avatar, well, it has some similarities to the Pocahontas folklore, but also some similarity to Dances with Wolves. And yes, so the movie about Pocahontas is nice, and let's see. Oh yes, and well, the folklore is interesting, and the historical aspect, is a good thing, to learn about what happened when European people first came to North America. I mean, yes, so there were some negative stuff happened, but also some positive stuff, and despite what bad things happened in the past, the best we can do is learn from them and to make sure that's happen again. So yes, I think that's all I can say about Pocahontas in this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.